Hello everyone, what's up? Moses here. Bringing another Path of Exile video. This time I decided to test out Purifying Flame. It's a pretty cool skill, and there was a big hype with a couple of support gems that they added to improve self-casting, and I still refuse to call it hand casting, but yeah. So right now I decided to go with a Trickster. Never played Trickster, and seems like a very fast mapper. What they added and changed with the Ascendancy, which is another reason why I did it, was the Ghost Dance. Basically, each Ghost Dance, like, gives you these Ghost Shrouds. You stack 3 of them, you get 12% attack and cast speed per Ghost Shroud. So that's 36% at full stacks, which is pretty much all the time while you're mapping. 36% is insane cast speed. So that works very well with self-cast type build and with Purifying Flame. So that's why I went with it. So let's go over the actual skill. Other than that, like the Ascendancy, you got Swift Killer, Frenzy, Power Charge. They did add Frenzy and Power Charge each second while channeling. So we're probably going to make a Trickster, and also part of the reason why I'm showcasing this right now, because this character might not exist. I'm not a big fan of self-cast, but so far I've been just now started mapping, and it's pretty swift. So there's a chance I might use this Trickster for a cast while channeling build that I'm very eager to make. I have already made 2 cast while channeling builds. I mean, weapons. I have 2 ideas for 2 castle channeling builds that I want to make. So, anyways, meanwhile, let's go through the skill. So, Purifying Flame is this. Okay, just so you know what's happening. It's basically this huge projectile. It's not categorized as projectile, but it's a huge thing that goes towards the enemy, explodes, and deals AoE damage. Now, when it explodes, you see there's a big circle of shockwave that emits from the center of the explosion, right? So that will deal a bunch of damage and clears enemies. So my current links are, before we talk about the links, it's actually a physical spell. There's a bunch of new physical spells, and 50% of that converted to fire. Now I haven't converted anything yet. You could use physical to lightning, but like, again, I just really felt like playing a self-caster, so I'm testing this thing out. Anyways, currently the links are increased area of effect, because it does massively increase the shockwave area. As you can see, like with and without it, it's kind of a big difference. Purifying Flame, Ink AoE, you could of course use Conk Effect for bossing, Spell Echo, added fire, because this is a physical spell, so you added fire actually gives you physical as extra fire here, so it's a big more multiplier. Increased crit, because it's a crit build, and Arcane Surge. Now Arcane Surge was massively buffed. Okay, it gives you a big more multiplier when you have Arcane Surge. And with this mana cost, you always have Arcane Surge, right? Once it's up, it's always up. It keeps refreshing, as you can see over here. It gives you basically double the amount of more multiplier and big cast speed bonus, right? So you get, like, it's a pretty viable support gem right now. Big more multipliers, like at level 20 it's going to be 40% more multiplier and 20% cast speed, right? With the quality, 10% increased spell damage, but that's kind of irrelevant. Like, the 20 cast speed and 40 more multiplier is huge, and all you gotta do is use the spell, and it doesn't have a drawback, so it's a massive buff for any kind of channeling builds, any kind of self-casting builds. It's insane, okay? Like, really ridiculous. But what I also wanted to test out, and didn't turn out to be insane, is this. I dabbled with a couple of, yeah, so Unleash. Unleash basically is supposed to have the same effect as Spell Echo, only slightly different. It's a gem that I'm not particularly happy with. It gives you less damage when reoccurring. Basically what it does is, let's just socket it in, and it's supposed to show the stacks. Maybe I need to be inside a zone. Yeah, okay, so you see it says 3 over here? The little number on the corner right here, it says 3. When you release, it goes down to 0, and then every, you know, at the moment, at level 15, every 0.76 seconds, you get a seal, which is a charge. And every time you get a charge, this skill will basically reoccur. Okay, so it's not like Spell Echo, but it's basically like Spell Echo. Let's remove Spell Echo so you can see. It's basically when you have 3 charges, you shoot the skill 3 times. So it's supposed to be very good. But one thing I don't understand yet about this skill, you consume it, like, immediately. So I'm not particularly keen about it for a couple of reasons. First, I don't know the exact interaction between Spell Echo and Unleash. Because what happens is, when you release, you consume all the charges, right? But then Spell Echo shoots the spell once again. But if the spell that you cast with Unleash is supposed to reoccur 3 times, it's supposed to reoccur and you Spell Echoed it, so what is actually happening? Are you getting 6 charges per 1 cast? 3 times 2 because Spell Echo? Or are you getting 3 and then 1 because Spell Echo, so just 4 charges? Okay, so that's one thing I'm not entirely sure how it actually works. But another thing is that it feels kind of like an improved faster casting. But we already have, you know, Spell Echo. And soon you're gonna see the gameplay. It really feels like Spell Echo takes care of all the cast speed need that you actually need, as well as the Ghost Shroud. That's 36% increased cast speed, and I don't even have faster casting here because it's insane. And I'm currently using Cerberus Limb. Let's remove the Cerberus Limb that gives big cast speed and big spell damage. Right, so that's 40% cast speed off of that. I don't know if these are exactly going to be my endgame weapons, but for now they seem to be very good for leveling. I picked them up for like 10, 12 casts. It seems pretty insane, the amount of cast speed. So Unleash itself, I really don't think is doing too much work. So I'm just going to ignore it for now, and maybe I'm going to try it out later. And another thing that I don't like about it is that, unlike Spell Echo, you can't tell when you're actually, like, there's no visual representation of what's happening on the screen. Like, when you use Spell Echo, you right click once, you see 2 explosions, right? But when you use Unleash, where is it? You still, like, you don't really know what is actually happening. Let's remove Spell Echo for you guys to see. You know, wait until there's 3 charges. So, like, it's supposed to be 3 times, right? But you don't really see it. And when you're, like, generally casting it, like, you know, when you're in the middle of combat, you're going to be casting it constantly, right? So, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it's serving its purpose there. It doesn't give us a more multiplier or anything like that. It doesn't buff up our skill, and since we already have a lot of cast speed anyways, I just think that Spell Echo fills in this slot perfectly, and for a 6-link setup, it's going to be kind of a waste to run Unleash if you You know, when you have so many other available options that are great. Like, you know, it's a crit build. You want your increased critical strikes. In KOE conk effect for mapping for bossing. That's a big more multiplier for bossing, right? Obviously the skill gem, big more multiplier here. Arcane Surge was buffed. It's insane. Just gives a lot of cast speed, a lot of increased spell damage, big more. So I mean, what are you gonna give up here for Unleash, and what does it actually do, and how does it actually work? So I'm not particularly keen on that. Maybe we'll try it out a little bit later. Oh, we got a small elder spawn here, so let's go and do Leyline here. I just started mapping with this character, right? So I'm doing. Do I have even a Leyline? Yeah. 7 quality. Sweet. Yeah, one downside about this is that you can't do no regen. Less regen probably gonna hurt you. You can't do. Let's do breaches. You can't do no leech, obviously. You can't do hexproof. You can't do reflect. Alright, so did I pick up a map that monsters have resistances? What's happening here? It feels like they should die much quicker. Oh, maybe they will now because, yeah, I needed my power charges and frenzies, I guess. So this is the skill. It's a pretty swift mapper, as you see. Maybe Leyline is not the best showcase because it's kind of like an open zone, but it has platforms, so you constantly have to teleport. Like, it's not, yeah. Of course, we got our Val Righteous Fire here. Not that we need it right now, just always good to have. I keep. Oh, shoot. Who's this? That's Onito himself. Oh, wait, no, that's Tal. Okay, Tal's dead. This is a tier 3 map. I mean, I'm just getting started here. Character's not even 70. I did do the 3 labs like I shown, and the next is going to be the Weave the Arcane? No, Harness the Void, this one, the extra chaos. So that's going to be massive for damage. Obviously, that's where the chunks starts to come in. But I decided to go with this one first, just because I feel like quality of life is better with the current power creep and just Tabula and Barracks Ring and Warlord's Mark on hit. I got enough sustain, I got enough, leech. I got enough damage. Like, look at this. Look at this amulet, it's kinda silly. Crit, air effect, area damage with the organ, right? Oh, Divine Vessel. Ooh, I should actually pick up some Divine Vessel. Yeah, so that's Val RF. It's a super fun skill. Okay, I'm just not entirely sure about Unleash, and I think it warrants some more experimenting. Underground Sea, tier 4, sweet. Full Atlas, right? But hey, maybe I'll do a small Elder on this. So yeah, I was kind of hoping that Unleash is going to make a big difference. I was kind of hyped for this to try out the skill gem, the support gem. But in the end, it didn't turn out to be so great. But like, you see, the character is like doing great. It's really fast. The cast speed is pretty insane. So again, like, what exactly is Unleashed spot in a build like this? I'm just not sure it has a spot, which is fine. So we removed it. Like, I'm just gonna level it up, I guess, and sell it once it reaches 20. Flip it, level 120 quality, and be done with it. But I was kind of hyped for, for the self-cast. Lack of better word, archetype, and trying out this new gem that was supposed to be pretty big, but it's not going to take the place of Spell Echo, and it's not going to make me use remove Conk Effect in KOE for a skill like this, or use the big more multipliers that you can use, or Arcane Sword is just huge right now. So, you know, this is basically it. The tree, let's talk about a little bit. Shadow was changed a little bit. So we got some area of effect nodes here and increased damage. There's just a life node here, 5%. Some life regen, some vision energy shield, so I picked it up. This is nice because it's a physical, right? So you get the movement speed, you get some dex for stats, you get some increased physical damage. Over here we got some crit chance physical damage. Shadow stuff, we start off as physical, right? We just increase all of our physical. Potentially later we could get into here. Potentially later you can get all the way through here and grab Unnatural Instincts to go right here and cover all the small nodes to give us some more bonuses, like, you know, the 9 cast speed over here, what is it, like 20-ish spell damage, 45 crit multi, 8 life, 9 movement speed, as well as the Harrier for the attack speed and movement speed over here. So a couple points and we can get there, and like a few levels. Right now, just crit. This node was changed, worth mentioning. All these 3 nodes, they added cast speed with cold skills, cast speed with lightning skills, cast speed with fire skills. So for self-caster channeling, very nice to add. Outside of that, I did pick up the mana reduction costs because mana is actually quite heavy when you're casting so fast. I am using a Warlord's Mark on hit ring that gives me the leech, but you're just casting so fast that the speed just exceeds, especially when you got the 3 Ghost Flames, you got your Frenzy Charges, you know, that's a lot of cast speed. And the speed in which you're casting actually exceeds the level of leech that you're getting back. So I had to get the mana reduction, which is fine because we are using Mind Over Matter and it gives us more defense, so it's basically like life. So I had to take these 3 nodes that I normally don't take. 10% elemental damage is pretty decent, and then effective life reduction, effective life 27% increased mana, so that's pretty nice. Standard stuff over here, quick recovery, Mind Over Matter, you know, annihilation, nothing out of the ordinary. I am using melding because I am planning on going here. Normally I wouldn't go here. And when it comes to the gear, I just have oh, that's actually worth mentioning. I'm using an Orb of Storm setup with power charge on crit. Increased critical strike could be changed right now. I used it earlier because well, I wanted to be able to generate it reliably, but now, you know, it's 21%, and with power charge it's going to go to roughly 30, and it ticks a lot. So you could actually use just a 3-link, Orb of Storm, power charge on crit, and Ice Bite. Ice Bite will make it so that you know, you'll just be able to generate frenzy charges on maps. But my problem with Trickster is always kind of like I felt that for a self-caster you're never able to just generate your frenzy charges on bosses. Now you can do that while channeling, but you're not able to do that on bosses if you're self-casting, not necessarily channeling, you know? So I always ended up, just for that reason, getting the Onslaught and the Frenzy Onslaught for free on rares and unique. That's a line that we're getting from the Scion Ascendancy, and then we're getting all the Elemental Reflect from the you know, Elementalist, and all the Herald damage penetration and all that kind of stuff. So that was always a very strong combination I always loved. Raider and Elementalist, super strong. And you know, this time I decided to go for something a little different. But there's actually no real way, unless you're using Frenzy and a wand, So you could do that in a distance that you're generating frenzy charges on bosses, and that's very uncomfortable and awkward. But yeah, that's basically, you know, the introduction. For the build, the character is just getting started, and we are going to get super chunky with Harness the Void. Going to be pretty sweet, potentially going to get through Force Shaper and the Jewel Socket over here for a Natural Instincts, and probably going to pick up the jewels here, 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 and that's most likely going to be the end of the character in terms of like the tree. I was thinking of getting Instability and spell damage per power charge because it's total of 5, and then you're getting 20% spell damage, and could be pretty nice. But those are 3 points that I might not end up using. And that would be it. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll keep you updated as to how this character continues. I am also very, very excited, like I told you. Chaos Cast while Channeling build is incoming. Chaos Cast while Channeling and Incinerate something. I didn't have enough. I want more Incinerate Cast while Channeling stuff. It was a whole lot of fun, and maybe I'll do it with the Trickster because all that cast speed, I mean, maybe I'll just respec this a little once this character is done and just shift 3 different builds on this one character, do series of Trickster builds a little bit for you guys. So yeah, that would be it for me for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.